How are you doing? How's your evening? It's Sunday, guys. Sunday. Move my keyboard out of the way. Let me get the cards out, check in on the temperature. Check on the collective energy. Okay. See what's going on. How's everything going for everybody right now? How are things in your world? How are you experiencing reality? How's your healing and your evolution and all that stuff going for you? All right. Like I said, energy check-in for the collective. So this will just apply to everybody in this more broad spectrum. You'll see as I go what I mean by that. All right. So let's see. Do you mean more for yourself or do you mean more in general, like for all of us? Well, I think if you're asking about you, you're pretty good. Okay. Let's see what else is there for the collective. Okay. And then we'll go over these cards. I got 4 out right now. So, all right. So we have the Queen of Fire and the Magician, the King of Earth, and the 2 of Air coming out. Hi, Midlight Purple. How are you, love? Hello. So when we're looking at, get back to the card here. So the Queen of Fire. The Queen of Fire was in the reverse, or she's more like sideways, but we're going to look at the reverse meaning of her because that's what I'm being indicated to talk about. The reverse of the Queen of Fire is self-doubt, burnout, overextending your energy, right? Like this is fire, but extra. It is, also being afraid of your own brilliance or your own power. Like a lot of us have that where we have imposter syndrome or, we just, through all of our life experiences and the way people have treated us, we look at ourselves in a certain way or believe a certain thing about what we're going to accomplish or what we're able to have or what we're worthy of, right? We have all these traumas. So when we're doing that, we can get through those life experiences, this doubt about ourselves and who we are, or, when we're going on our journey, there's lots of times when we make what we think are mistakes and we're like, oh, right. I'll give you an idea of what that is. So I was a nurse for 20 years, over 20 years. And I was working as the director of nursing for a hospital and long-term care. And I burned out like the Queen of Fire. This was me for sure. I burned out because I operated through my trauma and go, do, busy, and then numb out and avoid things, like many people do. So I ended up getting very sick and then I had to take a medical leave of absence and then I got to deal with all my trauma. Yay. Oh, I'm talking about me. Did you have that experience as well? Because so with this Queen of Fire, and this could apply to you, it may very much apply to you. So I did my healing journey and then after that I left nursing. Well, when I left nursing, I did some contract nursing to make some money to support the company that I started, which is Sha'Ryah. And although it was back then called Mind, Body, Spirit, Healthy Self, but I moved, I left my job. I jumped off the ledge and I said, I got this. I got this. And well, I did not. It did not turn out that my company immediately started making money. My company, although I'm doing everything that I love and I'm helping people. Hi, Melissa. Oh, thanks. And I'm helping people. I've helped a lot of people I've worked in trauma and mental health for a number of years now. I did an inpatient unit that I, worked on with trauma and mental health. And, I have my lived experience, I have my nursing, and then I have all the other stuff that I've taken and learned, including like heart math and stuff like that. But as I jumped off that ledge and, trusting, believing in myself, it didn't go well. It didn't. I floundered. I barely survived. And I ended up being homeless. I had to move in with my mom in a seniors building, a 1-bedroom apartment. For quite some time, I slept on the floor on mats. And, and then my mom put a queen size bed in her teeny tiny bedroom just so that I wouldn't be sleeping on the floor anymore. And we hid out like that because I wasn't allowed to live there because I'm not a senior. And so we hid out like that. And my mom took care of me, like, so I could keep chasing my dreams. So it didn't go the way that I thought. But so we look at that and we say it's a mistake, but it's not a mistake. It's the learning and experiences and growth that you have through those lessons. I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't have the experiences or went through the lessons that I went through, right? It's the way that it is. You have to put your, you have to look at the challenges as something that does make you stronger, right? And there's something that we gain from many, many things. Oh. Yeah, it's, and so one of the things that I like to do is help people get back to themselves, get back to center, and do all of those things. So, if that's something that you're looking at, if you need healing, or want to work on those things, I have different ways to help. I have one-to-one sessions that you can just book one at a time whenever you want. And it's a trauma and nervous system support session. Because one of the things that I got on my journey was I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Yep. But we end up getting into that spot, right? Where we look at our past situations, we look at the choices that we made, right? How many people have been in, repeated relationships that were unhealthy or toxic or whatever, and turn around at the end and go, yeah, I just suck at relationships. They like just, oh, yep, that's just bad at these things. Right? Not realizing that there's growth in all of that with it. Oh, I wish you all the best too. I wish you all the best. Yeah. And if you need any help, like I have a free group on my website. It's completely free. And you can interact with the content in the group as much as possible. I do a lot so because I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and functional neurological disorder, I had complex PTSD, high functioning anxiety and depression, ADHD, autism. That's what I call my spectrum. So I started getting all these like things thrown at me and all these acronyms and all these medications too. And it wasn't making me any better. I just couldn't live my life. I couldn't work. I couldn't drive. I was still riddled with trauma, and, my body was not working. And I tried to do it the medical way. I went to my doctor. Obviously, I was a nurse. I worked in the same hospital that my doctor was in. And, so I had the MS team. I had neuropsychiatrists. I had psychiatrists. I had psychologists. I had everything. And I had rehab, occupational health, physiotherapy. Like I had everything because of all the things that I was dealing with. And I wasn't getting any better. I did group therapy. I did individual therapy. I did the work. But the medications, the whole time that I was on the medications, I wasn't getting better. And then one day I said, that's enough. We're going to not take any more medications. We're going to slowly go off them until I feel different. And then when I feel different, we will look at how to address the medications then. And I went off all of them. And it didn't change. Those medications were not helping me at all. There was nothing that they were doing. In fact, they were actually, some of them that were actually causing harm, like they end up causing their own things. So I went off all the medications, and then I chose to radically change my life instead. And a part of changing my life was also having more spiritual practices. And I've had some profound experiences over the years. And I have had the beautiful experience of seeing consciousness, of seeing the field, of seeing the relationship between all of life and how much it matters how we treat one another and how we treat everything. If you go into sacred relationship with all of life, your life will change, absolutely will change. My life is not perfect, but I have a very peaceful life and a very balanced nervous system. And no matter what comes, I can manage it. And I know that. And that's where you get to. And that's what you're just getting yourself, your nervous system in a good space, right? Addressing what's not aligned in your life and getting rid of what's not aligned. And I do suggest you spend a little more time. Everybody, spend more time in nature. Just go out and have fun. And go, she's alive. She's beautiful. All right. We got some other cards we're going to talk about, and I will go back into that stuff. We can talk about a whole bunch of things because I have a lot of things that I can talk about. And yeah. Oh. Sorry, I have two monitors in my other monitor. Oh, absolutely. I have a group on my website as well that is, we meet twice a month. And the first meeting that I'm doing on the 9th, so this week, this Wednesday, on Wednesday. It's that short. June's already 1 week in. This is ridiculous. But so anyway, the first session is on regulation. So it's just on regulating your nervous system. And the second session, which is 2 weeks later, but on the Thursday, that one is on your triggers. And so those can be really handy sessions. Now, I do offer drop-ins for them. So it's like $22 Canadian for a drop-in if you don't want to join the group. That way there you can just pick what ones you want to join, and that there's no commitment to anything else. But if you want all the other stuff that goes along in the group as well as the other like both sessions, then you might as well just get the membership for the group and attend the both sessions, because then they're free. Yeah. All right. There's lots of things that I can offer you, but if you really want, just book a free call, because I have a 30-minute free call that I offer on my website so that you can determine if we're right for each other, or I can determine what support you would actually need. Right. And yeah. Okay. Let's check out the Magician card, because this one's really powerful. Because this is us, right? We are all the magician. You are creating your life all the time. You are creating your life by the thoughts that you have in your head, by the feelings that you have in your body, by the belief systems that you have. All of those things accumulate, plus on the actions that you take based on all of those things. When you understand that the field is all around you and it's interacting with you all the time, not only is the field outside of you, it is also inside of you, right? Because you are of the field. Because the field is consciousness and consciousness is source. So that field that's running through you is interacting with everything else, and it's running through everything else. When I see the field, which isn't all the time, but when I do see the field as clearly as I do, I have a set of palm trees, and the one palm tree is like way up here and the other one's down here. And you can see the tall one feeding energy down into the little one. You can see this relationship between them with the stream of consciousness and the energy that's going between them. And the other day when I was able to see it, I moved my one plant that used to be in this room. I moved it out into the other room, and I saw the plant that was beside it start to build relationship with each other. It was beautiful to watch. Just the energy that started to share between them and it mingling, and it's amazing. And so if we look at ourselves as sacred and everything else as sacred, it does actually. Give me 1 second. I have to plug in my monitor because I have some notes on some stuff that I want to talk about, and I don't know why it's not plugged in or why it's not on. It might have got turned off, and plus I have to plug my laptop in before it dies. Whoa. Oh, come on. All right. Okay, guys, sorry for the blocking of the camera on the YouTube and Facebook and stuff. I gotta plug my laptop in. All right. All right, that didn't work. What is going on with it? Oh boy, oh boy. Let's make sure it's plugged in. Troubleshooting here, guys. Bear with me. All right, what are you doing? Sorry, guys. I didn't notice that it wasn't on before I started. So. And I'm not sure why it's not working. Sorry, guys. I just knew what is going on with it. No. Okay. Let's not worry about it. That is so weird that it's not working. All right, I'll do it just different way. All right. So you'd asked the question about what does Sha'Ryah mean, and it does mean something. Like I said, originally I called the company Mind, Body, Spirit, Healthy Self. And then I moved into also talking about spirituality. And once I started transitioning into that and looking at creating more of a school type atmosphere, that's when I changed the name. So one of the things that I like to study is semantics and also like language, because words are important, right? Everything that we're saying is frequency, and that frequency interacts with the field. And if you're speaking in positive, you're interacting with the field in a positive way. And so the field responds in a positive way. If you're interacting with the field in a negative way, the field it interacts with you in that same way. So the name and I say it typically on Sha'Ryah, but I have to say it and Sha'Ryah, or else this will tell me, it'll spell it all funny. Wow. Same. So the "and" part, it means breath of source. The Sha'Rah part, it means sacred light of divine remembrance, and L is infinite light of creator source. So together, And Sha'Ryah means the breath of divine remembrance through the infinite light. So yeah, and it's because it's frequency, right? It is the frequency of a return, the sacred current that brings you back into full alignment with your eternal soul essence. And words are powerful, right? Like if you know your soul name, right, which is a different soul name than obviously than your birth name. Although it may sound similar, I have found some soul names and like where it's like very, very similar, like where it's like Sherry and Sha'Ryah. Like it's like that's their soul name is that versus their given name is Sherry. So you might find that there's a little bit of a link there, but not necessarily always. And your soul name will tell you a lot about your lineage, right? Like where you come from, your soul family, a lot of different things. So there, now you know about Sha'Ryah. Okay, so we're back to the magician and about the fact that we're all the magician, right? You're manifesting your reality all the time. And you're doing it through your belief system, through your nervous system state, through how you think and how you feel, and then the actions you take based on all of that stuff. Right? So if I don't think I'm good enough, then I'm not going to take the chance. Like I'm not going to take those risks, or I'm not going to put myself out there. So therefore I am manifesting less of what I should be manifesting because I've told myself I'm not good enough. Right? So we have to be looking at how we're speaking to ourselves, how we're thinking about our lives, how we value ourselves, right? We have to understand those things so we can work through them. And then that way there you become the conscious manifester instead of unconsciously manifesting all kinds of things that you actually don't want. And the universe is an interesting thing, right? So if you are focusing, everybody's like, well, if it's what I focus on, I get, then I'll just focus on money. But oftentimes what ends up happening is you're focusing on the lack of it, or you're focusing on the wanting of it, or you're focusing on the fact that it is separate from you. And because you're focusing on that aspect of it, the universe says, well, they seem to like that they want it, so we'll continue to make them want it. They seem to like that they're in lack because they're focused on that lack, so we'll give them more lack. And oh, hey, they think they're separate from money, so we'll just keep money separate from them because that's their belief. That's what reality you're creating for yourself. So you have to look at how you think about money, how you think about success, how you think about yourself, how you think about life, the world, all of that, and then make the most positive choices and interact with the field in a positive way so that it returns to you. So the magician is what you are. So be the magician and manifest your perfect life. Well, perfect is all about refinement too. It's not, people think that perfect means like, flawless or whatever, but it's not. Perfection was actually the act of refinement, mastery, right? And, but they twisted it and made it seem like it's this thing that you can't ever attain because what is perfect? All right, we got the king. So when Tuda, is that how you say it? I hope I'm saying it right. When you were mentioning, is this for me, or is this going to work out? Is everything going to work out for me? It's something along that comment that you made. This card flew out. Okay, right at that moment when you asked if everything was going to be okay, the king of earth flew out. This is mastery, prosperity, it's leadership. Okay. So when it's in the upright, it talks about leadership, financial success, or financial mastery. There's stability, reliability, practical wisdom, abundance, responsible decision-making. Okay. So the King of Earth reminds you that abundance is built through patience, strategy, and care True prosperity is not just about accumulation of wealth, but creating a lasting, secure foundation that supports your growth and the well-being of those around you. The king of earth, he's like it's legacy wealth. Like this is where you're caring for the next generation. Okay. So I think that it's a very good sign for you that that flew out at that particular time. Okay. And when I was as soon as I read the question, right there onto the thing. So there's also this message though. So this one came out right afterwards. And the two of air. So when we're air, all the air element is about your mental, right? So it's all your cognitive and thoughts and things like that. So when and twos are about balancing things, harmony and, alignment and stuff like that. So when we've got the upright two of air, this is about indecision. There could be dealing with that aspect, but there could be mental clarity as well, right? There's weighing options and or avoiding the truth. It's a complex card, and air cards tend to be the complex ones. So the two of air reminds you that clarity comes from stillness. Do not fear the unknown. Embrace it with trust, and the way forward will reveal itself. Okay. So I think there's, back to that trust. We have to learn to trust ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to figure out why my monitor's not working. I don't want tech difficulties. I don't want tech difficulties. I would prefer not to. Do I have any October cards? What do you mean by October cards? Scorpio cards. Oh, do you want to know what the major arcana is for the tropical? I can pull out so Scorpio's death and rebirth. Ophiuchus is judgment. Scorpio, death and rebirth. And death and rebirth is the phoenix rising. And so that's about transformation, rebirth, shredding old identities, deep soul evolution, letting go, embracing change, the end of a cycle leading to a new beginning. Death and rebirth reminds you that true growth requires surrender. Embrace the fire, let yourself be transformed, and trust that this is not an end. It is a powerful new beginning. Pisces is the moon. Did you find some meaning in that card? So it's a powerful new beginning. Aw. I'm gonna put it the right way. Aquarius is the star. Capricorn is the devil. They have in Japan, there's a whole thing about congratulating people, right? Because they would congratulate people and be like, congratulations on your divorce. And people would be like, and they're like, well, your relationship obviously wasn't good if you're getting divorced. So congratulations. Now you can go and, you can go and find somebody that's aligned with you. That's the way the Japanese do it. It might work. It might work for some people. Congratulations. All right, give me one. Gemini. Okay. They're coming. You just have to go through all of them. Cancer is the Chariot. Virgo is the Hermit. Leo is Strength. No, sorry, I did it backwards. The Hermit is Virgo. Sorry, Taurus is the Hierophant. I was getting them backwards for a minute there. The Hierophant is Taurus. That one. Temperance is Sagittarius. We're almost there. Well, I got Gemini, but I'll hold that for a minute. Libra is Justice. Oh, and then the Emperor is Aries. And the Lovers is Gemini. So union, soul connection, deep love, divine partnership, important choices, balance between heart and mind, alignment with soul truth. Lovers remind you that true love, whether for self, another, or the universe, comes from deep alignment, not attachment. Embrace connection, choose from the heart, and trust that the divine path of love is always unfolding in perfect harmony. I love it. I think it's a beautiful message for you. Who else? What are your other signs? I deal with true, like when I do astrology, I do true sidereal. That's the method that I work in, because I believe that you should look at the living sky. I don't know why we're looking at the sky frozen 2,000 years ago, right? To me, energy is important, right? We should be aligning with the truth. So the truth is the living sky. What do I think is the most devious? In which way? Like one of the signs? Yeah. So when I look at astrology, I try to take out all of the distortions that are put in there. So what I find with tropical astrology is that it is more ego-based, and there's all these little distortions that are put in there. So like when we're looking at Gemini in tropical astrology, they would say that Gemini is two-faced, that Gemini is not to be trusted, and some of these other things, right? So 33. Gemini is not two-faced. Gemini is very intelligent. And what Gemini can do is hold space for two opposing ideas and being okay with that. So this and that can be true to Gemini, because Gemini can hold the mental capacity for that to be okay, right? They can like something and equally not like something, because it's a situational based thing, right? At times. So another one, Virgo. Virgo's another one. Virgo is called it's called critical. Virgo is dubbed as perfectionist. and the thing is it's not that. Virgo, the energy of Virgo is the great refiner. Virgo, when we go through the astrological wheel, right? When we go through it, we're going through it to have a growth experience, and the energies keep spiraling. We keep going through these energies over and over and over and over and over again, right? Every week, the moon's going through its phases. It's going through the signs, right? The moon transitions. I mean, it's just going through Ophiuchus and Scorpio in about a day, a little more than a day, but most of them are around 2 to 3 days, right? So that's how long it's taking them to transition through. Virgo's one of the largest signs, so it takes longer to go through Virgo than it does something like Scorpio, right? And when we're going through it, so Aries is the great initiator. Aries likes let go, right? The Aries is the fire that starts. Aries the one that's going to lead the pack, because it's the initiator. When you're in Aries energy, Aries is about the self. And there's nothing wrong with that, because we should be working on ourselves. I don't prescribe by religion. I'm spiritual, and I believe in that there's truth in all religion, but there's also distortions and lies and manipulation. And so I'm not religious. But I do. I'm spiritual. Oh, yeah. I believe in Yeshua. I absolutely do. I believe in source. I just don't believe that the God of the Bible is the real God. I do not think the God of the Bible, I don't think that the real source is judgmental, spiteful. I don't think he's on a throne going, you may come in and no, you may not. No. They just did that so that we would worry about it. I think it's deeper than that. But I think that so source exists. There is the creator, the source of all creation. And like I said, that source of creation is also the field that we're existing in and living with, and it's interacting with us at all the time. So we are constantly moving into it. Right? Yeah. And that source of light is in us. But not everybody has the source of light in them. No, I wouldn't. So it's not about it's about evolution, and you don't evolve out of this realm, out of this third dimension of Earth, until you do your healing and you evolve to the point where you're back to unity consciousness, right? You have to get past like all the greed. You have to get past all the consumption. You have to get past all of that. You've got to work through all of that so it's frequency based. Right. And that's the way that life should be, right? That it's about resonance, and it's about doing the work. And, when you're, the more that you do the work on your soul and align with yourself, align with your higher self, your oversoul, right? As you're doing those things, and evolving, sorry, hang on. Right. That's how we go there. But Epstein doesn't get in there. It's not a letting you in. You walk your way back. Right? It's you make the choice to come back. You're not denied entrance at all. It's all on you, right? The choices that you make. If you're making choices that are aligned with the anti-Christic ways, if we can call it that, right? So most of society is functioning under that. Right? It's been hijacked. It's, and these are my knowledge from all of my spiritual journeys that I've had, and, and what I've accessed. But I lost my train of thought. Oops. Tea time. All right. But yeah, we're just evolving. We're working our way back. It's all on you. If you're making poor decisions, right? If you're hurting people, right? If you're hurting other people, if you're hurting animals, if you're harming nature, if you're doing those things, that's not aligned, right, with source consciousness. So then of course you are denied entrance, because why, right? But you can make your way back. You just have to clean up your act. That's it. Just do your healing. Figure out what is aligned with the good stuff, the right stuff, and do that stuff. And that's it. Do your healing, right? And then everybody can go back in. Everybody can, right? No. Thank you. So what do you guys want to talk about now? Oh, we were going through okay. So when you go from Aries, so Aries is the great initiator, and Aries then passes it off to Taurus, and Taurus says, okay, so now that we've got this fire going and we're on our way, we got to find out what's stable. So Taurus wants to ground things. Taurus is about worth. Taurus is, like, that's where you're building your self-confidence. And Taurus loves luxury. And then you move to Gemini. Gemini is like the early student, the one that's in school asking all the questions. Why? Why is it like that? Why is it like that? Because Gemini has a thirst for knowledge, and that's that vast brain that they have. And so Gemini is acquiring more information. It's learning. And then it goes to Cancer. And Cancer is about the home. And, and it's the returning home from school, right? And that environment, right? So, that's where you're going through some of the stuff with your family and all of that. And then it passes it to Leo, and Leo is the self. Leo is, wait, great that I have this family, but I'm also an individual. So I'm going to stand out. And so Leo gets to the authenticity part. So we've learned what we've gotten from the school, from our family. And then Leo's like, okay, I'm going to be my individual. And with that authenticity, this is where he hands it over to Virgo. And Leo's like, this is me. This is what I want to do. I love this. So if Leo energy was, I want to run a marathon. Oh man, it'd be so awesome to run a marathon. I just would love to do that. Well, then he hands it over to Virgo, and Virgo says, okay, we want to run a marathon. What do we need to do? We need to refine some things. So we're going to need to have a plan. We gotta exercise we gotta start walking at least. We gotta put our shoes on. We gotta get out the door. We gotta be walking. Probably gotta look at my macros and my micros, and I gotta, look at my, I've got to consider all of these things, because running a marathon isn't just about running. It's mind, you got to do your mind work and all these other things. That's what Virgo would do. Let's refine this. If this is what we want, let's go and get it. Yes. And Virgo's very resourceful. They're very handy people. That's why there's probably the biggest part of the pie, and it takes longer. So there's more people under Virgo because it takes longer for the sun to transition through it. It's like 40 days or something like that it's in Virgo season. I'd have to check the numbers exactly, but so it takes a longer time because we need a lot of time to refine. And then it gives it to Scorpio, and Scorpio says, yeah, but let's look under the covers. Let's check in the closet. Let's look at this. And so Scorpio reveals the truth, what's hidden in the shadows, brings it to the surface. And then he gives it to Ophiuchus. Now, in traditional astrology, they don't even have Ophiuchus. They took that out. But Ophiuchus is a powerful energy, because Ophiuchus isn't it's the rising phoenix. It is what comes after death. All right. So, and then Ophiuchus takes that healing energy and that space that you're in, and he hands it to Sagittarius. And Sagittarius says, well, now that we've done all this healing, I know who I am, what I want. I've refined my plan. I skipped Libra. I skipped Libra. So sorry, after Virgo's like, great, we've refined this. And then it hands it to Libra, and Libra's like, okay, There's more than just me. There's relationships. And so where are my relationships harmonious? Where is it even give and take? Where is life balanced? Where does judgment need to happen? Where's justice? Where's justice need to happen? So, that's Libra energy, Lady Justice and harmony and beauty and relationships. So once we refine that, then we move it into Scorpio and into, we should be following the moon. Actually, the new moons should be the start of a month. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Let me finish the cycle of the planets before I get completely. So it passes it to Sagittarius, and Sagittarius says, okay, we've refined all of this. We've got our harmony. We've got our balanced relationships. We've went through the dark night of the soul. We've healed through that. We know who we are now, and we know what we want. And so I'm going to fire true. And that's what Sagittarius points on point and off. So it gives you the direction. And then it hands it to Capricorn, and Capricorn is like, holy, Capricorn he's integrity. Like, that's big daddy energy. He's like, I'm going to build a legacy. I'm going to take care of the kiddos. We got a plan. We got a structure. We have to make sure that it's stable. It's going to last for generations. And, then he hands it to Aquarius, and Aquarius is like, that's great for the next generation, but how about humanity in and of itself? And Aquarius is innovative, and it's thinking about the future, and it's like next generations and the whole entire collective. And so then they pass it off to Pisces, and Pisces is where we integrate all of it. Pisces is, basically the senior citizens, the most spiritual. This is where we tap into our gifts more. And we go through this cycle. Pisces is very emotional. So we're probably doing some cleansing at that point too, right? Like closing a cycle and getting ready for the next one, which again, we go back to Aries. And it's like, let's go. And we do this cycle all the time, only we're doing it through different aspects of ourselves because it's going through different energetic spaces. So the sun, right? The sun is your radiance. That's your, how you, that's how you show up. The rising sign is literally how you rise. So when I'm Aries rising, which means I'm up first, and I wake up and I'm like, let's go. I had to actually slow myself down because I would get up in the morning, and I work at home. So I would get up in the morning, make a coffee, come in and sit down, and I would start working right away. I drink tea now. And I also have a whole meditation practice. I do channeled writing in the morning. I have a whole thing. And because those are my spiritual practices and they're important to me. So I do those and I move my body, and then I can come and work. But I don't jump at it anymore, even though I wake up like ready. It's like, let's go. Not everybody's like that because, some people, their energy, like the rising energy is how you show up. It's what shows up first. Right. And it's how people see you when, that's how you're going to be more reflected in society. When you look at the moon is your emotional landscape. It's your ancestral memory. It's powerful. So when it's moving through there, right? When you think about that, you have Aries in the emotional energy, right? So you're going to be like, let's go. I'm going to be thinking about myself emotionally. I am going to be, taking direction. I'm going to be clear about what I want. I may be a little bit impulsive. So I have to, because that's the one thing that Aries battles with. If Aries is running from the mind, it can be impulsive. When Aries is leading from the heart, then they're in alignment with themselves and they're going to be making choices that are in alignment. And so it's more beneficial. So yeah. When you look at Mercury, right? When the signs are rolling through Mercury, this is your thoughts, your communication. This is technology. So when it's moving through that, if you've got if you've got Mercury moving through Gemini, well, then, your thoughts are going to be fast. You're going to be asking lots of questions. You're going to be seeking more information. So it's that different energy. When we go through Venus, Venus is relationships, it's desire, it's passion. So like if we had it in Virgo, well, then you're going to be refining that. You're going to be refining your relationships and looking at, how is this really aligned for me? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? We've signed ourselves up to have a whole host of experiences in our life. And in those experiences that we signed ourselves up to have, some of them were crappy experiences. Hi, Temper. They're crappy experiences, but we signed up to have them because we were going to evolve, grow. It was going to uncover something within us that needed to heal, right? That's what your triggers are. When something's poking at you and you're responding in a big way, that's because something underneath didn't get resolved before. So there's emotion and energy that's stored that needs to be released. And by tapping into that, that's how you get to that space of peace, how you release that energy. That energy can contribute to disease, to illnesses, to pain, all kinds of things, right? Depending on where we're storing it, right? When people take on burdens that are not theirs and responsibilities, they get a lot of shoulder pain, a lot of shoulder issues, because you're literally carrying the weight on your shoulders. And so that happens. People who have back pain can be because you don't feel supported, or you don't feel like you can support yourself. So if you don't feel one of those things, you can have, depending on where in your back and how, there's other ways to look at it too, right side, left side, whether it's, how you show up or how other people show up is depending on whether it's on your left or your right. Your knee is pivot, right? Same thing with your hips, are very much like how you pivot in life, how you handle changes. Do you think you can handle when there's a sudden change in your life? And if you have difficulties with that, you can have hip issues, because we store all that energy in there. And that energy is, like I said, when you see that the consciousness is everywhere, flowing all through it. Right now, if you were to be able to see it, you would see that it's lying over your face, that it is on your dog, that it is emanating from you, that when you're breathing, you breathe it in, that it's on your plants, and it's in the space all around you. You could literally pick it up and move it. That's if you could see it, right? Because that's how real it is. And as that's flowing through us, right, when we've done our healing and we're in a positive state, the energy's flowing through us with ease. But when we hold energy, we've got stagnant energy stuck in these spaces. And that's why we end up with things like I said, pain or disease or injuries, illness. And those injuries are sometimes an indication too, right? Sometimes we have injuries or we get sick so that it's telling us we need to do something, right? Sometimes when you get a sore throat, so you can't speak, it's because you've been doing too much talking and not enough listening. And so it's like, we're just going to make you have to be silent so you can open your ears a bit more. Like it's that your system's amazing. Life is amazing. Like when you think about it, your whole body is a little universe, right? Like you're like, this is a micro universe, and it's absolutely unbelievable, right? Even if you just looked at the mitochondria on its own, just that little mitochondria. What do you mean? Can I do an ASMR for a video? I'm talking about embodied spirituality and astrology and the energy check-in and stuff. So yeah. But you know what? You could go check out the bread video that I have. I think that's ASMR. Well, smart Alec. Oh yeah, we were looking. Who is Virgo? Is Virgo still there? I'll read the back of the card for Virgo. Oops. Give me your bud. Thank you. Love you too. All right, we've got the Hermit. Introspection, solitude, spiritual peaking, Seeking, sorry. Spiritual seeking. That was funny. Oh, I gotta do my puzzle. Hang on. Yay! That means this one's gonna come up in a moment. But we'll let it wait. All right, we got spiritual seeking, deep wisdom, inner guidance, soul searching, and divine reflection. The hermit reminds you that true wisdom comes not from the outside world, but from the depths of your soul. Embrace solitude as a gift, seek truth beyond illusion, and trust that your inner light will always lead you home. Ooh, nervous system. I got that one right now. What would you like to ask? What question would you like me to ask? Nalivo, it is literally your nervous system. It's all of it, but it's your nervous system. If your nervous system is dysregulated, then it's telling you that you do not have the, yeah, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. All right. We got a lot of questions coming in, so give me a second. We've got to start them one at a time. We're talking about the manifestation one. So with manifestation, they want to give it the whole, like, it's really quicker, it's really easy, but it's actually multifaceted, right? So you have to believe or know that you are deserving, worthy, that it's aligned with you, right? You have to know these things. So you have to check your belief system and make sure that it is not preventing you in some way from having what you want. So I love to give this example of, how we're raised as children, and many of us are taught that money is the root of all evil. And then we're taught to be good girls and boys. So how can you have money and be a good girl and boy if it's the root of all evil? So having that opposing belief system will lock you out of it. Okay. So that's something that is important to consider. Okay. So your belief system. Then you have, so your thoughts. What are your thoughts running in your head? Right? Are your thoughts positive? Are they positive about you? Are they positive about your life? Are they positive about what you're looking to manifest? Right? Or, are you always getting frustrated with how it's working or it's not working? Then you have to look at your feeling, right? And you can be sitting there going, I have I have $1 million, I have $1 million, I have $1 million, I have $1 million, but meanwhile you feel poor, or you feel like you're in lack, or you feel like you're separate from money, or all these other things, right? So you're in your thoughts, right? So once you get your thoughts, your feelings, your belief system, right? So knowing that you're worthy of it, which that can oftentimes involve trauma work, right? Because a lot of what we ended up acquiring as our belief system came through the window of trauma. And so we have distorted beliefs about ourselves or about society or our place in society because of that. So the biggest thing, though, is your nervous system. If you ask yourself a question, feel your body, and your body will give you an indication of whether or not you actually think you can have that or not. So if you said to yourself, let's say you had a company like I do, right? And if somebody came up to me and said, imagine overnight having 1,000 clients and being booked solid, right? If they said that to me and I feel my system go, I know I'm not ready for that. That's what my body would be telling me. My nervous system is not ready to hold that capacity. So if you are, say, assigning a value to your services, if you go, I think that I should charge $300, and you feel so, oh, then you're not ready for $300. So by doing that, you're just going to set yourself out of it. No. Your nervous system is not feeling. My final answer was everything that I said. It's not feeling or it is that and, right? And you can, if you want, you can pick one of them and then have fun, because it's not going to get you there, right? Your nervous system is not just your feelings, right? Many of us are running around and we don't even realize it, but we're sitting with our nervous system about here, which means it doesn't take a lot of stress in our life before we're popping our top and we're reactionary, right? Hi, sweetheart, I love you. Right? So we're like, we're be popping our tops. And you can see that, like, people are dysregulated in society and they don't even realize it. But when you're regulated, you can see it. And, because we've become accustomed to what our nervous system state is. So if your nervous system was created in chaos, your nervous system is going to look for chaos to feel normal, because that's familiar. And if it's not getting it from the environment, you're going to create it for yourself. So that's where we self-sabotage, because we want to confirm what we believe about ourselves. So we confirm it through our experiences, and we set ourselves up for that. And that's to show you, right? If we're in relationships where, that person is emotionally unavailable, then we have to be asking ourselves, are we emotionally available to ourselves? Because why do we keep aligning in that relationship? That relationship is teaching us something, but we're not listening, or sometimes we are. But that's the healing journey, right? You have to look at, what is this teaching me about me? What is this revealing to me about the past and how it's shaping my worldview in the wrong way? How is it aligning me with these experiences that are lessons that I'm meant to grow through? Because if you're seeing a pattern show up in your life over and over and over and over, you have to ask yourself, why is that happening? It's showing up for a reason. It's showing up to show you something. So what is it trying to show you? So if you're always struggling with money, then there's something about how you feel about your worth, your value, your place in society, your skill set. Like, there's a confidence issue. There's somewhere in there that you need to look at. What is that key thing that I need to work through, that I need to unlock in my brain, so that I can align myself with the things that are meant for me, right? And all we're trying to do is remember who and what we are before all of the trauma. Because who and what you are before all of the trauma, you're worthy. Your higher self knows exactly who you are. They know the experiences that you've had, the many lives that you've lived through, and they are so proud of you, because they're just like, holy crap, dude. Like, if you even understood the lives that you've lived, the experiences that you've had, the things that you've done, the lives that you've saved, the things that you've overcome, like, it would blow your mind. It would blow your mind. I am shocked about the stuff I've overcome in this one whole life, right? Like, when I think about all the experiences that I had, right? Like, I was physically abused at 6 months of age. I was sexually abused at 2 years of age. And that was the beginning of it, right? Like that. And, every one, side of town to the other, from one. And, in growing up, I lived in 3 different provinces across Canada. We would move every 6 months on, average, sometimes shorter, right? Depending, because probably got an eviction notice. My stepdad was always running from the law, because he'd like do stupid things, petty theft, or steal hydro. He stole hydro on the one house that we had, because we were too poor to pay for it. We had we walked a thin line between life and death in our lives that we had. And, I still, from there, went on to, I have 9 years of post-secondary education. I was a registered nurse, flew around the world, director of nursing, I've done a wicked lot of stuff. I even worked I've done so many things. It's insane. It's insane. But when you think about like the experiences, and I know you've had the same kind of experiences, and maybe not exactly the same as me, but you've had experiences in your life that have been like really, really terrible. And you've had, experiences in other lives that have been terrible. And if you understood like how powerful you are and how much you've overcome, and, just how amazing you are and how much love that there is out there for you in the field, right? all around you. It's there, right? And all we need to do is just remember and then walk our way home, right? Mhm. Did that answer a good question? All right, let's see what else we have. Can I just answer a question? Which question was I supposed to be? Oh, will I be super rich? Is that your goal in life? To be super rich? What do you want to do with all the money? Might not be there anymore. All right, give me one sec. I got to pull up my Live Sky app so that I can check on the energy for this week. So the app that I use is actually on the online, and it is called theskylive.com. That's it. So let's take a peek at. Oh no, actually I have my text document here where I already wrote them all in. All right. Let's see. We are currently on June. So we are still in Taurus season. Sun is in Taurus until June 21st. We are in June. So we are, what day is it today? The 7th. All right. So we have the moon in Pisces right now, and then it'll go into Aries, and then it'll go into Taurus, and then Gemini. So when we're looking at the Pisces moon, people may be feeling very emotional, right? Maybe extra emotional when the Pisces moon is there. It's a deep feeling moon. You maybe feeling more spiritual, or wanting to do more spiritual practices as well. Aries comes back to the self, and what is important to you, and looking at your emotions, and is really initiating things. And then we go into Taurus, and Taurus wants to stabilize stuff. So it's going to look at grounding, what really is aligned or more stable for you. And then when we move into Gemini, we go into where your mind is processing your emotions, right? That's more of a thought process of emotions, which is good because sometimes it's nice to put a logic to your emotions, because your emotions, your emotions are not, they're always true, but they're not always accurate, if that makes sense. And I'll explain, and so that it does. So whatever you're experiencing is the emotions that you're experiencing, and they're valid, they're true. And you need to be compassionate with yourself and understanding about the fact that you're experiencing these emotions. The fact that they're not always true, or not always actually like for factual or whatever, is the fact that, because of trauma, you may be experiencing something way disproportionate, right? You've seen it on TV, or you've seen it in person, where somebody, maybe somebody got their order wrong or something, and somebody's just losing it on a waitress, and you're like, wow. Well, that's trauma. That is them acting like a 3-year-old, right? And they probably experience, significant disappointment as a child, or maybe even neglect. There's a multitude of different things that they could have experienced that would lead to that. And it's just their nervous system is sitting up here, and then that thing happens, and it's just the straw that broke the camel's back that triggered them. And now they're acting like a 3-year-old because it's taken them back in time to when they were neglected, or whatever that experience was that they had. And that's why they're behaving that way. And we all do it. That's what our triggers do. It's to take you back in time so that you can resolve those emotions. But oftentimes we don't. We just add to it, right? Until we start to recognize that that's what we need to do. So when you have those emotions that feel disproportionate, right? And you're like, oh my God, why did I react like that? Like, what the heck, right? Maybe I'm tired, right? And you can look at a bunch of different things. Are you in pain? Are you hungry? Are you lonely? Are you, like there's a lot of things that come together to affect you in your nervous system and in your life, right? That's going to add stress to it. If you've got poor social connections, it can be very lonely. And we are social creatures, so we need to have positive connection. That can be contributing to your stress. If you are having pain, pain can be very tiring, disorienting. It's constantly there, nagging away at your mind, right? So it's hard to function when you're dealing with that. And that's also going to have your nervous system out of alignment. If you're looking at hunger, look how many people get hangry, right? So, you have to look at that too. Are you hungry? And it's not just, are you hungry? It's what's the quality of the meals, right? Hi, Linda, right? What are the quality of the food that you're eating? Because if you're not feeding yourself good quality food, then it's the same thing, right? I'm doing fantastic. How are you? So I was just checking the time. He's napping quite nicely, so it's good. It's nice to meet you too. So we transition through all of those energies with the moon. What do we have for Mercury? June 1st, Mercury is in Gemini, which means that we're very active mentally, right? You're going to be a lot of questions. You're going to be very curious. It's a very intellectual time. Then we have Venus, and Venus, June, Venus is in Gemini as well. So we'll be processing relationships very intellectually. Okay. We'll be weighing options, this or that, right? That's Gemini energy. Mars is in Aries, which is Mars's favorite place to be. And we like it when Mars is in Aries because that gives us forward momentum. We're like, let's go. That's your drive, right? So your drive is in the initiator seats. Let's go. We've got Jupiter is in Gemini. So again, this is about the expansion. So there's an expansion of intellect, of thought, of curiosity, of information seeking. I'm talking about the transition of the planets through the living sky for this week. So we know what energies we're going to be working with. So Jupiter is and Jupiter actually is transitioning into Cancer this month on the 21st. So that's a big shift. Saturn is in Pisces. Now, these are the larger planets. So these, when we get out into the further planets, right, then we're starting to look at more collective energies. And Saturn is responsibility, it's karma, it's all of those things. I am working right now. I own 2 companies, actually. So the one is this one and Sha'Ryah. And the other one is this one, Hugs for Homeless. So I have a nonprofit where I help the homeless, or the unhoused, I guess is the new politically correct term to use. So yeah. And it is Sunday. Did you go to work today? All right, so we got Saturn. So Saturn is responsibility, and Saturn is also in Pisces. So Saturn is asking us to be responsible with our spirituality. And so that's why we're seeing things like the fall of guru culture, where these big people with massive platforms, when it's just all about the money and it's all a facade, they're going to come crumbling down because the truth is going to be revealed. Uranus is in Taurus. So change is more stable. Like when Uranus is about radical change, but Taurus is very grounded and stable. So it's looking to stabilize the changes that are happening, right? To look at what is meant to stay, what needs to go. Neptune is illusions and dreams, and that's in Pisces. So it's very dreamy. And then we have Pluto in Capricorn. And people talk about Aquarius season, but Pluto is still in Capricorn. But remember what I said earlier about Capricorn being Big Daddy and about integrity. And so we're seeing that. And what Capricorn is asking is, what are the structures that are going to survive? What are the ones that we're using to build the legacy with? And these have to be in integrity. So that's why we're seeing all of these big things falling, the disclosures that are happening, and, you know, like the Epstein files and all of these other things that are happening. We're seeing those because Capricorn is calling us all on our business. Cool. Nice. So yeah, and we had, where were we with our moons here? We are on June. So tomorrow, June 8th, we have the third quarter. And then we'll have our new moon next week on the 14th. So we'll talk about the new moon next week, though. Hello, guys. Hello, hello. How are you? So yeah. All right. What do you guys want to talk about? We talked about a few things. Hi. Hi, Mystic Helen. Ah. Love you, friend. I'm looking to see if there's other. Whoops. All right. Any questions? What else did you want to talk about? We can talk about a ton of things. If you ask me things, I get going. Yeah. Any questions? Not everybody all at once. Shh. Yes. Okay. Hi. I was like, there was a whole bunch of questions came in at that time. Okay. Give me a second and I'll see if it'll come up this way. So why do you think that you're cut off from spirit? First one, because yeah, why do you think that you've been cut off from spirit? What gave you that indication or that shift? And hi, Miko. Okay. So there's a lot of significance about 2012, right? There's a theory about 2012 that there was a cataclysmic ending to one of the Earths, and that everybody end up, and that's why we have these whole Mandela effects, and some people remember it one way and some people remember it another way because they're from different timelines. And so that is one concept that's what came up for me, is that when that happened, that because of switching timelines, that it knocked you out of alignment. Interesting. Yep. Yeah. If you want, like, go on my website. I have a free 30-minute call there. If you go on that, we can talk a little bit more, and then I can tell you what I would suggest. Right. I can give you some suggestions. Because it'll be better one-on-one too, because then I can really connect with your energy. It'd be just a Zoom meeting. What else? What other stuff? We got so many things we can talk about. Any questions? Yeah, I know I can do a session with you, and connect you back. But there's no, I still like to talk to you if that's something that aligns with you. And if it does, then we can have that conversation. Mhm. Yeah. So I'll give a couple of notes. I think I'm going to head off here in about 8 minutes or so I can get my pup out for his night walk. I just had to say the word real so I don't get him set off yet. So on my website, I have two paid membership spaces, but in these membership spaces, I do two lives in each one of the membership spaces per month. So for the June sessions, right? And you can drop in for the sessions as a one-time session or join the membership, right? And then you get 2 sessions for the whole month. But anyway, the first session for the Balanced Self Sanctuary, which this is a supportive group for those who are on their healing journey. So I give you somatic practices and all kinds of stuff from like heart math. I did somatic experiencing, EFT, like so many things that I have studied, and tools that I have. So I do those things. So the first session that I'm doing, which is Wednesday, is the foundation of regulation, why safety comes before growth. On the next day, and so in the other group that I have is the Embodied Leadership Circle. So this is for people that have done their healing journey and stabilized themselves, and now they want to live in that embodied way. And so these are people that are really the truth of the truth, and like we're talking, yeah, anyway, a lot more stuff in that group, but it's about leadership. So in the leadership circle, the first one, which is on Thursday, is the difference between healing and leadership. Then on the 24th is the next session for the Embodied Leadership Circle, and it's about holding your center when life doesn't cooperate. And then in the Balanced Self Sanctuary on the 25th, so then the Thursday, is understanding triggers without becoming controlled by them. So those are the sessions that are available in those groups for this month. So if those things are of interest to you, you can check them out at the website. There. There. I did my notes. Okay. All right. I am back on Wednesday. Wednesdays again, just embody spirituality. And so we'll talk more about stuff like we talked about today. I'm not sure. I might cover some things. Like I might have a specific idea of some things to talk about. I teach information about the spine as antenna. I have the Christic embodiment method, which is the multidimensional chakra system, where we have 50 gates on each energetic body, except for the 7th energetic body, which is only partially activated with 30 gates. So we have 330 gates. But there's, there's 50 of them, but they're expressed. So I talk about that stuff, dimensions, there's who knows what I'll get to for conversations. I channeled the message this morning and I haven't recorded it yet. So I'm just going to read it to you guys today. So I do channeled writing, and I talk about how I had this, like my practices. So in the morning I get up and the first thing that I do is waken the fire, right? The flame. And I call in my monad and my oversoul, and I do toning and I speak decrees and I meditate, do all of that. And then I channel a message. And all I do is I just ask for a message for the collective, and then I put the pen on the paper and I just write whatever comes out and then deliver it to you guys. And then I do another one where it's just for me, or I'm just actually asking for myself a message. But this is the message for today. And it's kind of along the lines of what we were talking about earlier on. But my dearest child, I wish you could see how glorious and magnificent you truly are. I wish you could open your eyes and see me everywhere, like musical colors stringing and singing the world into being, including you. You are from the stars, and your soul is ancient. You, little sun, are a micro-universe. Do you know how amazing it is? As above, so below, as within, so without. You are everything and connected to everything. There is no such thing as empty space, for Source fills in all the cracks with consciousness. That field runs through you, around you, through all life, and around all objects. I am everywhere. That field is me. You are me. It is all me, and all connected. If you could see that connection, you'd know you are never alone and always connected to every living thing, even the clouds. I can't show everyone this, for some people like to find ways to control it. Most would be in awe, and they would understand how sacred our relationships with everything, including the field itself, is. The care you give to yourself, all life, and the field will return to you in ways you can't explain. It's all me. It's all you. It's all us. So that was the message for today. So I don't know if you needed to hear that, but if you did, there you go. But yeah. All right, guys, it's 7:30, been an hour and a half. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Take at least a few minutes to just be with you and be sacred with it. I love you. I love you. Do that. Do it. You're welcome, Granny. You're welcome. And thank you for following me. And come back and hang out on Wednesday. Wednesday, I go live at 7:30 p.m. So I will be starting at this time and going till later. And then on Saturdays, Saturday is a 10 o'clock a.m. Mountain time. All my times are Mountain, 10 a.m. And on Saturday, we do the energy check-in, and then I check in with your guys' energy. And then we do the global meditation, and it's a really powerful meditation. We use sacred geometry. I do toning with you, like I do toning for you. So definitely something to check out. Okay. And like I said, go check out the free group that's there, because I mean, it's free. It's a free group. And it also would keep you connected in case anything happened on social media and I lost my channel. I would end up going live on my website. All righty. Clear this here. All right. Perfect. All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful night. And again, thank you so much for hanging out with me and interacting. It was wonderful. And I will talk to you guys Wednesday if you show up. And if not, I'll see you when I do. And we'll end that stream first.